Let's look at how we put these cones together. So this is a pattern of my own design, although it's influenced by a couple other people's designs for these cornucopias, these treat cones. These are things that have been made for years, and maybe hundreds of years, you know, as May Day baskets, as Christmas tree ornaments. Making a simple cone out of a piece of paper is such a great way to give a little gift, tell someone you're thinking about them, or decorate a tree or anything. Embellishing them is the part that's can make them really particularly special. And that's what I've tried to do with this, is make it more than just a rolled up cone, paper cone. So this is my example. There's some things I like about it and some things I don't like about it, and we'll talk about that as we go through what to do with what's in your kit. But they're quite pretty and they look absolutely lovely on a tree. You fill this up with candy or notes or a little toy or present. That can be pretty spectacular looking. We're going to start with paper that's double-sided. Because we do this fold over thing, you want to have something going on both sides of your paper. It can be just a plain color and a pattern, or it can be two colors or whatever, but I think having two patterns. This is scrapbooking paper. That's what you got in the kit. Because I had a whole bunch of it, I can't seem to get rid of all of it. But you can make some paper too. In fact, if you go to an earlier video on decorating and making papers for collage work and other projects, you will find, in fact, hold on one second. I'm going to grab an example of a paper out of my studio real quick. So this is paste paper. You could absolutely do another pattern on the back of this and have a double-sided paper. This is made with paint and wallpaper paste. I think paste papers in particular would be really, really lend themselves well to making these. Again, in an earlier video, I go through, I think, monoprinting papers and stamping papers and then making paste paper. So there is a video on my channel that shows you how to do this, and those could be really, really beautiful. I actually wish I would have thought of using paste paper before I used this, but anywho, in the kit, you're going to get a couple of, well, you know, you're not. You're going to get one, and then you're going to get another sheet of paper. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. So yours may be scored or it may not be scored. If it's not, you're going to need to score it. And the best way to do that is to take a ruler, which I don't have one next to me. But if you go from each of these corners, the base of each side of these points, and put a ruler there, and then take your scissor or the back end of a butter knife and press down to score it, then it makes it very easy to fold, okay? If you do a lot of paper crafting and you have a great stock of studio supplies, you might have a bone folder, and that works great for scoring as well. You'll notice on my pattern, there's a little flap here. Let me show you on the actual pattern. There's a little flap there, and then the rest look like peacock feathers or something, right? Or an Indian headdress. Before you make this into a cone, my advice would be to trace this out on the other piece of paper that you get, or onto a piece of paper that you have. It won't fit on an 8.5 by 11 sheet. You'll have to get a bigger piece of paper. I mount my patterns like this onto cardboard, just like a cereal box cardboard, right? And then I wrote dotted lines in here to remind myself to score those lines. And then I have this pattern. Then I can make as many of these cones as I want. This pattern is not perfect. I designed this pattern. It works. It's a little janky in some points, but it does give you a product that is quite beautiful. But if you want to take this and perfect it in any way to make it easier or better for you, please feel free to do that. I have no feelings about that one way or the other. Once you've scored your piece and you have copied it, you have another pattern or another one already done, the little flap here that we just talked about is where you are going to glue to the other side, right? And then that makes it, see, I told you it was a little janky, but that gives you then this cone, okay? Before you do that, I'm just wondering, I think, you see how I have a trim decorating, these are all the folds. In your kit, you get a little packet of trim. There's enough to do, I think, a couple of cones and actually to make your handle as well. Because I actually don't like this. I think this is a little bit tacky, this super sparkly wire that I used for the handle. I think it would be nice if it matched this. So that's what I gave you in the kit, is enough of this to do that. You could go down on the fold, the outside fold part, the side that's going to be the outside, and run your trim down those parts. Not this one, because that's your glue flap. But, well, actually, you might want to do that one after do that one at the end when it is glued together, right? But if you glue those trims on while it's flat, it might be easier to work that way, and then fold it together and then glue the last one on. In my example, I put 3 stones down each one of those. So that's 18 stones because there's 6 folds in this pattern. There are little plastic stones included in your kit. Once that's done, and honestly, I would use hot glue to do this. Do this project with hot glue. You can do it with white glue, but actually, you know what? If you did the trim this way, I think that's where I got frustrated in making this, was that I had it already made and then I was trying to put trim on it, and then doing it with white glue and waiting, the dry time was making it hard. So this probably should be white glue where you seal the paper, because it's just going to stay better, right? And if you are impatient, you can dot your tacky glue or white glue, and then you can dot some little hot glue in between. The hot glue will hold it together, and then that white glue will dry when it dries. Once you have that all done, you fold these, you just gently pull them back, right? Now that's a hot glue operation, because you need to glue them onto here, okay? Now I'm wondering if that's even... No, I really think you should do that after it's a cone. Yep. And then what I did was I pulled it back, I rolled them back. Okay, so if you roll it even on your finger or a pencil, you can kind of get it to already bend that way. And then if you put hot glue on the back of your stone, put this where you want it and put the stone there to seal it. That should hold, okay? So I've got a stone there holding each one of these around. And then I did I made these little triangles out of some extra ribbon. You know, I kind of like this ribbon in there. I'll include a piece of this ribbon in the kit. Or I included, actually this is post, right? So I included some ribbon in the kit. And then I glued a stone on top here just to sort of finish that off. So there's a total of 30 stones on here, and some ribbon and trim. Now, the ones that are holding the flaps around, and these curly flaps are what really make the cone special, right? I used a little bit of old metal tinsel there. It's a little bit delicate, and for the purpose of the kit, I felt like it would just get all squished and would be really hard to work with. So I've included in the kit 7 inches of this fringe. The reason I put 7 inches in is I figured you could cut an inch of this and make a little tassel that you glue on there, right? And then you could glue your stone onto that. So let's change that. When you fold this over, you might want to glue it, glue a little fringe on, then glue your stone on that. And then there's the 7th inch is so that you could put a little tail on it. I kind of shredded some of this. Let me get it in here. Kind of shredded some of this ribbon and made a little tail there. It looks great, but it's falling apart and it's not super great. So I think having this trim match the handle, which is what we have, and then having the fringe going around the sides match the bottom, I think these will be quite nice pieces. All of these materials are, of course, readily available at Thompson's Hobby or Joann's or Michael's, right? And you can make cones for, I mean, honestly, this is a really special gift, especially depending on what you put in it. But that's how we do that one. Wow. This is the last of the ornaments that I filmed, so I hope you enjoyed all of the videos. The little disc, sort of Victorian scrap ornament, or my version of that, the cotton Santa, and then this tree cone. You can make as many as you like. I give them all to you. I have no rights to any of this, nor do I want to. I just made the patterns, and I'm happy that hopefully people will be making ornaments with them. I think you could make a really, really beautiful addition to your tree and your gift giving with these ornaments. So happy holidays. Come see us at Camp Christmas and have fun.